So my question is, you told us multiple times that if you weren't an actor, you would like eventually to be a teacher, which I find great. I mean, I'm a teacher and I find it so nice. And my question is, being on Supernatural, which is so deep and it has such an important message to convey and so many tropes and archetypes and metaphors, don't you think that maybe you have been sort of a teacher in a non-conventional way, but we know that storytelling has always been a sort of a instrument of teaching throughout history. Let's think of the classics, for example. So probably you already are a teacher.
Amazing. Thank you for being a teacher. That's a great way to think of it, and it's very flattering. I guess I would say that some of my work, in TV or movies, has served some teaching purposes. I'll say it for sure because I know it's taught me. I know it's taught Jared a lot. So if it helps teach, I think the great part about teaching is really asking questions, making people figure out to ask questions, not just giving them the answers. And you can go to a calculator or to Google if you want answers, but trying to learn how to think and how to view things, those have been the most important lessons that I've learned. And learning is forever, ideally. Like if you're not still learning and growing, then today, right now, you are the best you'll ever be. And that's kind of depressing to me. You think like, well, got nothing to learn. This is as good as it gets. Like, so yeah, I hope so. I hope I've been able to help people ask questions. And I think that was a cool thing about Supernatural. Because we were in so many bizarre situations, it made me think, literally, like, what would I do? Like, it's thinking, for instance, it happened all the time, but like the soulless, when Sarah Gamble told me between seasons 5 and 6, I was coming back soulless, I was like, what does that mean? What is the soul? And I read about like what the great philosophers, theologians thought the soul was, or what it could be, or what religion is, and how they kind of correlate across cultures and across societies and across eras. So yeah, I think if in my process of learning I was able to help teach at all, then very cool. My mother was a teacher; she's retired, and she taught me. She showed me how to start asking questions, not just reciting. Anybody can memorize what's in a book, to an extent. You can look up what happened, but the more interesting part for me is why did it happen, and what were they thinking, and why do they think they were doing the right thing, or do they know they were doing the wrong thing? What would I do? So, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, this is kind of sad at 10 a.m.
It's okay.
Sorry. And sorry for you.
Well, it's 3 a.m. for me, Texas time.
I have two favorite scenes in the whole series, and one is at the end of season 8, you mentioned it, in Sacrifice, when Sam is saying that his greatest sin is how many times he let him down, and the second one is in, you mentioned it too, at maybe episode 12, Protect and Loss, when they are in the parking lot and he's trying to talk him out of the idea to lock himself up in the mallet box. And those scenes for me have something in common. Your voice is breaking and like you can say those words. And my question is, because I feel like Sam sometimes, because I get that. So my question is, what is that breaks in those moments? Is Sam's voice or Jared's voice?
I would say it's kind of a great question. Thank you so much. I would say Sam's voice. Sam's voice as informed by Jared's interpretation of who Sam is and was and would be in that moment. I've never done a affectation in my voice. I've never made it go higher or lower, or I just kind of did whatever I felt Sam would do. And funny enough, like in some of the earlier seasons of Supernatural, I did kind of lower my voice, but I felt like Sam would lower his voice, because Sam was already a man, you know, he'd already hunted demons, he hadn't hunted demons yet, but he'd already like hunted ghosts, and he had this shitty life. He lost his mom when he was a baby. And I felt like, you know, he might be that 19-year-old kid who's like, yeah, a 20-year-old kid who's like, no, it's cool, man. You know, like I felt like Sam still was not a man yet. You know, he still was trying to pretend to be a man. He had done a lot of stuff that men never do. And I mean man as adult, like an adult version of who he was, not boy or girl. But I've never consciously, I'll say, like, if I can hang my hat on one thing and be proud of myself for Supernatural, is I gave everything to Sam, everything I had, and I didn't always have as much as maybe I would have wanted, but that was just the way Sam came out through me and through the dialogue. I guess there was one episode where I used a fake voice, but that was a French mistake. And again, that was Sam, like, key. But I felt I never did anything for the sake of Jared. And I think that's also, Jensen never did anything for the sake of Jensen. And I think that's why, one of the main reasons why Supernatural went so long and we were so trusted. Like, for many years, there was no producer in Vancouver. All the writers and producers were in Los Angeles. And then we got Kim Manners, and then he passed, rest in peace. And then we had another couple of years where there was no real creative producer there. They just trusted us because they knew it wasn't like, hey, I think it'd be cool if I do like a backflip in the next episode. Maybe I'm, you know, wearing a fancy watch or like driving a fancy car. It was like, nah, that's not Sam and Dean. Like we want to make Sam and Dean as true and real as possible. And so both Jensen and I would just kind of represent, like I love Sam. Jensen loves Dean. I love Dean. And Jensen loves Sam. And I wanted to do him justice. So whatever happened was Sam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm going to drag off. Thank you all so much. Good morning. Happy Sunday.